And the subject I want to talk to all of you about is how you create your life. And of course, this has to do with the law of attraction. And when I started out many years ago, we called it manifestation. Now it's called law of attraction. And whatever you wish to call it, it's the same difference. But we go back to the cliche thoughts or things. And my favorite quote, as you all know, which is from Henry Ford, is whether you think you can do a thing or whether you think you can't do a thing, you're right. This is a very reflective time in our life, not only because of the planets, I believe there are 7, but don't quote me, that are retrograde, and that influences our energies. But it's also a time to see the chaos, the emotions, the frustrations, and anger on this planet. It is my fervent hope that you will not allow yourself to be part of it. Because each one of you are the individual creators of your life. And you can either turn to be sheep or you can be leaders. I use the term sheep because they're followers. Leaders are independent, and they go to the beat of their own drum. They don't go to the beat of their own drum to harm one another, but it's a very personal thing. And being a personal thing, the first thing that I want you to be really concerned about and to understand is that you were created out of love. You are love. And you've heard me say many times, love is the glue that holds your body together. Show me a person that's angry, hateful, upset, and I'll show you a person who has many different kinds of problems with their body. Not only body, but mentally as well. Because they're not loving. Loving doesn't mean that you surrender or you become subservient. I'm talking about loving for yourself. Realizing that you're whole and complete as you are now. You were born whole and complete. And if your life is not on track, there's only 2 reasons. One is because you're not following your path, or 2 is that you're letting some emotional baggage or blocks stopping you from achieving your life mission and goal, which is to bring love and health and prosperity in your life. Too many people feel that success only has to do with money, materiality, the cars and everything that they have. I like the finer things in life, I will admit it. But you know, I look at it because it gives me joy. Not to say to someone else, look at me, I've arrived. Well, you know what one of my favorite crystals are? A diamond. It's my favorite crystal. I don't look at the value of a diamond. I look at it as a crystal that when it's held up to the sun, you see the rainbow of colors. Now, there are other crystals that do that, but for some reason, I've always, since I've been a child, attracted to a diamond. I would say to any of you, if you think and believe that a diamond brings you joy, you love the crystal, the facets, then buy the biggest diamond you can afford, whether it's a 16th of a carat or 20 carats, whenever it may be, because that's something that brings you joy, not something that says, look at me, I'm successful. You know, we look at people, and if they have a lot of money, and they have a luxurious house and all this stuff, they turn around and people think, oh boy, I want to be like this person. But the truth of the matter is, as I was discussing with a group before, I've worked with many millionaires. They're so worried about their money, they can't enjoy it. My niece has beautiful in-laws, and they're multi-millionaires. You would never, ever know it. Yeah, they travel wherever they want to go. They dress very tastefully, but simply. They just have a regular car, but they just enjoy life. Go to dinner and do whatever they want, but they never, ever flaunt it. Because they're happy and they're in service to other people. So part of success in our life in service means to not be a doormat, but to help others. And to realize that you are deserving. You know, one of the things is that we have to realize is there has to be a balance of energy in our lives. So as you give, you must receive. That's why a lot of the volunteer organizations, people get burnt out or they leave, because they don't get thanks. Oh, well, thank you. We'll take you to dinner once a year and say thank you. You know, my son called me up and he said, you know, he's in North Carolina. I don't get it. Blue Cross. You know, it's supposed to be a nonprofit. And the president makes $800,000 a year. And Dad, it's supposed to be a nonprofit. And we need volunteers. Isn't that interesting? So it's like feathering their own bed or taking care of themselves. So there's not an exchange of energy. That's why the volunteers get burnt out. What you need to understand is that you must always be open to receive. I had one client, she was having trouble in real estate. I said, well, let's just do a manifestation for prosperity and abundance. Oh, you can't do that. That's spiritually wrong. What do you mean it's spiritually wrong? God, the true source wants you to be happy, joyous. And if prosperity is a part of it, go for it. Perfect health is a part of it, go for it. Or any of it. Whatever brings you happiness. In other words, think unlimited. Anyway, she reluctantly went along with the affirmation to manifest more prosperity and abundance. And about 6 months later, she said, well, how you doing? All right. How's business? Well, it's better. You making more sales? I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. She was too embarrassed. Didn't think she was worthy. So she makes a living, but she never makes enough extra money to have the little finer things of life. Because she doesn't think of it. Isn't that interesting? So who is our own worst enemy? We are. Based on our self-worth, self-esteem, and what we feel we are worthy of. Therefore, the first thing I want you to all understand is, when you incarnate on the planet and your embodiment, there are karmic lessons to learn. Yeah, some of them are challenging, but once you learn it, you learn it. Some of them are very, very rewarding. And once you learn the challenging ones, they're over and done with for the rest of your life. You don't have to be in that position anymore. And I had a client, she came to me. She controlled everything. So part of her karmic lesson was to let go and just be in the flow. And her hands were crippled, and she was the head of a nonprofit school. And I got her to finally relax and let go. For a month she was fine. Then she took control again, and her hands became arthritic and couldn't move her fingers. And I had another conversation with her, and she wouldn't listen. Because she was in fear and doubt. Because she didn't think she was good enough and always had to be on guard and put people down to be in control and manipulative. Look at the things that we do as human beings to ourselves instead of realizing who and what we are. So what are you? You are a soul made and conceived out of love. You are a soul who came here to do a mission and goal. And there are 3 basic, but sometimes there are more. So one of them could be, is to have a career to help other people. And maybe you change careers. Like me, I've had so many careers. And another mission and goal was perhaps to have a family, or perhaps to help out someone. And the last mission and goal was to do something on the spiritual plane. That could be to help souls cross over, to realign and rebalance energy on the planet, to help new souls come in, perhaps to work with the nature spirits, with the animal, vegetable, and mineral kingdom. Whatever it is, all of us have our goals, and all of us are really, really special. You know, I was talking to someone about past lives, and they go, hey, isn't it interesting? Everybody thinks they were president, king, potentate, or whatever, and they realize they were just an ordinary soul, and he laughed. And I said, That may be your interpretation. But you don't know if that soul changed somebody and gave them hope and life and joy and changed their whole life. That's much bigger than making $1 trillion. Many of my students in the old days would say to me, oh, well, you do so much, boy, you're going to have all this positive karma. And I said, you know what? Let me explain everything to everyone. I'm just doing my mission and goal. But if you go to a person, and let's say they're working and they look kind of sad, a little disgusted, and you go, hi, great, that's a great sweater. You look great today. And they go, really, really? And I smile. That's just as powerful as saving someone's life. Because you changed their life for the day or for that period. That's very empowering. And they're having better understanding of who and what they are, and you're helping them with their self-worth and self-esteem. That's how great and powerful each one of us are. That we make great and powerful changes. Not only in our lives, because it has to begin with you first. You have to change first. You have to be the role model. You have to learn to love yourself. Be unconditionally loving, allowing, and non-judgmental. Oh, where does that come from? By the way, that's God, the true source. Period. Unconditionally loving, allowing, and non-judgmental. And you are an aspect. We're made in the image of God, the true source. Whatever you want to believe, whatever your biblical learnings are, you are part of that. You have that DNA, so to speak. I would like each one of you, because I'm winding this down, to remember that the only limitations you have in your life are self-imposed, based on false belief. Think about that. Based on false belief. You will be surrounded with people who will be role models for you to look at yourself. Now, don't misunderstand the word role model. It is all positive. But if you have fears about how you feel about yourself or your weight or whatever it is, you're going to meet a lot of people who will exemplify that. Or if you're caring and loving and joyous and happy, you're going to meet a lot of people that are just like that, or a mix of it. You see, you are working not only by the law of attraction, by what you think, but what you need to grow and learn. I do many intuitive readings. In the early days, someone would come in with exactly what I was struggling with, and I would give them advice based on what they suggested to do. And I went, oh, thank you, True Source. That applies to me. What a great way to learn a lesson. I better learn to listen. And that's the way our life is. There are situations within our life that help us to grow. I had one client that was having trouble keeping a job. And she finally, I worked with her, and she finally discovered on her own, well, Michael, am I supposed to work for somebody else, or am I supposed to work for myself? I go, you got it. You're supposed to work for yourself. So sometimes we don't listen, and we're fearful. If that's what we're supposed to do, that's part of your mission and goal, to work for yourself, doing whatever field you chose to do, you will be successful. Absolutely successful. It's incredible. I know that, just like to share a quick story. Many years ago, I was in the nursing home business. And I decided I wanted to be one of the largest nursing home operators. And it was I would sit there and, my attorney was great in that industry, Dick. And he called me up, hey, there's one for sale. Great, it's $1 million. Now we're talking back in the 70s. No problem, because I had the right contacts. I could get $1 million loan like a piece of cake. I knew the right people, the right bankers. They loved me. And they'd even call me up, you need money? Yeah, I could use some money. And then I would talk to the True Source, and I go, is this the right business for me? And if it isn't, let it fall apart quickly, rapidly, and immediately. Every deal fell apart. And I was frustrated. Oh, wait a minute, I asked for that. And one of the most unusual ones, the state was taking the operator of this nursing home and pulling his license, and so they wanted me to take it over. I went, okay. And then I spoke to the legal department. They said, Dr. Gross is off the records. The state's not going to reimburse you enough money to run it, but we didn't say this. If I were you, I'd back out of it. I didn't know the guy from Adam. But you see, when you are in the flow with everything, that everything works perfect for you. And, you know, I ended up with just one nursing home, and it flourished. Flourished. I had to turn people away. And we were not the most modern, but the most loving and caring. Oh, my goodness. Thanks to my staff and thanks to the true source. But I use that as an example because I wanted each one of you to know that you are always protected. And if you ask the true source and your higher self and soul, always ask if it's right for you, perfect for you. The term I use, right action for you. You'll never end up with egg on your face. So I leave you with this thought. And the thought is, remember you are unlimited. And you know my mantra, look in the mirror every night and say to yourself, I am going to use my name. I, Michael, I am unlimited. Michael, I am unlimited. Michael, I am unlimited. What does that say? That says that everything and anything is possible. And the only limitation you have is by your thoughts and things. Thank you, everyone. I'd like each one of you to listen to all of these messages when you have the opportunity. But also, please tell others. Tell others to come in, to receive the message, to become empowered, to become unlimited, to become loving, to achieve their dreams. I love each and every one of you. I thank you and I bless you.